Hi, my name is Makbub Tasfai, Gabra Kidan, based in London, financial advisor. Today's commentary is all about Ethiopia Investment Holding because I've seen updates in terms of quarterly performance of many state-owned enterprises, and I'm really impressed by the progress made so far. However, I would like to point out few points to make Ethiopian Investment Holding to live up to its expectation. As you know, let me give you some background about Ethiopia Investment Holding. Investment Holding is established in December 2021 to be as an investment arms of the governments. And I think the rationales behind that is Ethiopia Investment Holding is conceived as a mechanism to break a cycle of inefficiencies, mismanagements, and underperformance by state-owned enterprises for decades. I think many commentators, including me, at the outset were saying, oh, this is one of a kind of decisions because it will have a consequence not only on the current Ethiopian economic landscape, but it's for the generation to come. So I'm hoping that this creation of Ethiopian Investment Holding as a holding entity is a true economic transformation. And I would like to say a few words whether it's an ambitious plan and maybe will struggle to deliver real change. I think the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, has made it clear managing a state-owned enterprise, the old way of managing state-owned enterprise cannot lead Ethiopia to prosperity. I concur this argument because most of Ethiopian state-owned enterprise historically considered as they drain public resources, most of them without yielding meaningful returns. So I really agree with this understanding of the old ways of doing will not change much. Even some I think most analysts agree on the point that most of the inflationary pressure and of the financial instability in the current environment somehow attributed to the failing of these state-owned enterprises to generate a meaningful return. We can raise so many examples. By the way, in the state-owned enterprise, there are world-class entities like Ethiopian Airlines, and there are like Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, which all is still considered a profitable business. But the majority of these state-owned enterprises, like the sugar factories, most of them, the project has never delivered. It promises. So many projects were in pipeline. There has been so much money has been injected with no return as of yet. I'm not going to sugarcoat the current Ethiopian economic landscape, to be honest with you. It is still challenging. It's a very difficult environment to operate. And we can see some few numbers. For example, the dates is unsustainable. It's like 30 billion as of June 2024. And in terms of ways of doing business is still requires a huge transformations. But despite all this concern, and especially recently with so many political risks, there has been a good sign that foreign direct investment is coming to Ethiopia, especially the recent signings of the two memorandum of understanding, 400 million from Dangote USD, 600 from British equity firm. I think that signals a growing confidence in the country's potential. And I feel that these are just the beginning. Despite the challenge, despite the risk, investors are really willing to bet on Ethiopia's long-term growth story. I strongly agree with that. By the way, one thing which I really admire the Ethiopian Investment Holding is the logos, the wild ibex. I think it clearly shows us it's a symbol, it's a signal. It shows a signal for mindset shift. We know that Walia is resilient, it just impress risk taking and always sees and ready for opportunities. So the government is placing a huge or substantial bet on Ethiopian Investment Holding, and hopefully they will deliver what is said as their objectives. If there is a huge expectation from Ethiopian Investment Holding, then my point is, what are the actions that needs to be required in order to make this Ethiopian Investment Holding a pillar of success. Number one, with no doubt, is governance. I think they need to have a strong governance structure. I've seen there has been so many high caliber individuals currently working for Ethiopian Investment Holding in a different capacity, which is a good start. But at the same time, I think they need to, if from a board point of view, I think most of the board members currently, which I've seen in the website, are all government appointees, most of them government officials. So I strongly recommend that top investment holding should start incorporating independent board members. I've seen in the subsidiary entities like on Ethiopian Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, I've seen there are a new board members, non-affiliated, that's independent board members. That practice is really something that I would like to change. I think it's a very good start, but at the same time, we need to make sure that in most of the subsidiaries there is a balance in terms of independent board members, because that will definitely help or seeing things from a different perspective, and especially when there is a huge political influence, it will help to minimize those kind of political influences. And the other good practice which I would like to say here is in terms of financial reporting. So I've seen recently quarterly financial updates. It's not a big update by any stretch of imagination. However, there has been some indications, there has been some a start to say that, oh, this entity has made a profit, but it's not. I haven't seen a full-fledged financial statement. I think Ethiopian Tele has provided glimpse of hope. They have provided some information in terms of revenue and their profit, but I would like Ethiopia Investment Holding to be transparent and provide financial information, at least income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement on a quarterly basis with any progress in terms of projects. I'm really happy to say that the announcement on the recent interview by the CEO, Dr. Brook, has mentioned that there will be a consolidated balance sheet that will be produced sometime in 2025. I think that is a step in the right direction. It is going to be a historic milestone, I think, for Ethiopia, just to see how much is the total asset. Because as he clearly said, we are always focusing on the liability side of the story. But what is the asset side of the story? And I would like to see that happening, and then follow the Norway fund examples by regularly publishing detailed report. By the way, Norwegian Wealth Fund, if you go to the website, you will see the value of the total wealth, the total value of the equity, like live. And that's, I think we can take that as an example. We can take that kind of examples for us, so that we install confidence both domestically and for international investors. I think most people say, oh, this is too ambitious. But if you see in 1990, its wealth fund was around 23 billion, but currently it's like 1.8 trillion. So it is possible that this kind of high level of achievement can be, the momentum is there, can achieve that. But the point is, we need to make sure that we have a very strong, independent, world-class management structure to make sure that that is a reality. Because the ultimate objective of EIH is to be an investment arm, at the same time to transfer wealth to the next generation. So I don't want EIH to be just name only. I want action, and hopefully they will achieve that. And I think it looks like on the wealth fund side of the story, the momentum is there. I think global trends currently showing that major economies like US, I've seen President Trump recently announce the establishment of the American Wealth Fund, which is the first of its kind. It's going to be a big change, and it looks like governments are to be as corporate as possible. So that's a good thing. In addition to this, I think the Ethiopian Investment Holding should work on how to save. They need to have a very good cost saving strategy. I think one of the things which I'm thinking from my experience, I used to work for an entity which has multiple subsidiaries. I'm based in London, managing the accounts of all those entities. I think what I've seen during that time is they have established a shared service. When I say shared service, it's, there are activities that are repetitive across these subsidiaries. So, for example, finance function, procurement function, HR function, IT function. All these are repetitive. They are delivering, the same kind of service. So I strongly suggest Ethiopia Investment Holding to set up one entity like a shared service. It can be created under an entity and they can raise invoice and charge all the subsidiaries. It's just an internal income, but it will definitely help to reduce costs. Currently, we are doing the same kind of things multiple times. If we have like 40 subsidiaries, currently we are doing it 40 times. But if we have the shared service, that will definitely help these entities in cost saving strategies. In addition to that, I think one thing I would like to say is Ethiopia Investment Holding should serve. I think the opportunity always lies in its ability to serve as a bridge for foreign direct investment. So Ethiopia has historically presented a complex and at times difficult investment environment. So I'm expecting Ethiopia Investment Holding to be more agile, more flexible, transparent, and taking decision quickly and act a gateway for investment. So you can see, the recent liberalization efforts allowing Safaricom to enter in the telecom market, plus those current foreign banking reforms, I think, and the establishment of capital markets, these are really good start, and it will definitely reshape Ethiopian economic landscape for the future. The Ethiopian Investment Holding is at a crossroad, I must say, because there is a huge expectation from the government, there is a huge expectation from the society, like the Ethiopian nation, so they have to live up to and keep the momentum and deliver what they supposed to deliver. So at last, in the conclusion, what I would like to say is Ethiopia Investment Holding for me is more than just a financial entity. I think it's a symbol of nation's reinvention. So while I think there are so many commentators, skeptics, warns of risks, and then we know, we need to be bold to say the broader narrative is still there has been narratives around problems, wars, conflict, and stuff like that. However, the majority of Ethiopians, including foreign investors, think that Ethiopia is on the road to transformation by leveraging its assets. We can learn from global peers. There are so many good practices. And then we are, I think, on the road to do better things for Ethiopian economic ecosystem. So with young and ambitious population, I feel the government focus on reform would increasingly help to be Ethiopian as a good examples for Africa. And Ethiopia has a unique opportunity to rewrite its economic story. As we know, for too long, Ethiopia has been defined by poverty. I feel now it is a chance to stand on the world stage, not as a recipient of fund anymore, but as an investor in global enterprise. So this reimagination is really, really important for years to come. So I feel the journey has begun. EIH can rise to the occasion, and definitely it will become a cornerstone of Ethiopian economic renaissance. So, I strongly support what they are trying to achieve, but they have to consider some international good practices. So thank you so much for today. Bye.